After a few years of learning Mandarin in China, I developed learning strategies both from my personal experience, from observing my classmates from various countries. I noticed that all the successful students used a specific method. When I first started to learn Chinese, I struggled a lot with memorizing characters. So, let's talk about efficient ways to learn them easier and faster. There's a really huge secret behind how Chinese characters work, so let's talk about that first. Chinese characters consist of meaningful radicals. There are 214 radicals, each representing different meanings. In ancient times, Chinese people used pictograms, which literally resembles what they are meant to represent. However, the most modern characters known as logograms are constructed of two components: a radical component, which gestures at the meaning of the character, and a sound component, which hints at its pronunciation. And all characters are built from a array of strokes, which are often simplified into 8 basic types. These radicals resemble different meanings, and when combined, they can create a character that has different meanings. Now, let's take an example of the character an, which is safe, and is made up of 2 radicals, for roof and person. When someone is underneath the roof, protected from outside, they are safe, which is literally the meaning of this character. Identifying radicals from characters can significantly improve your memorization and character recognition. Instead of learning individual characters, focus more on learning words that combine multiple characters. This approach is more practical and useful. Do not try to memorize characters if you know many of them. Instead, try to learn words that combine multiple characters. Now, let's take an example of shui. Shui means to study and to learn. Here are a few examples of words formed by combining shui with different characters. 学生, which means student. This word consists of 2 characters, each representing different meanings when used separately. 学 here is to learn, to study, and 生 means life, birth, student. Now let's take another example with 学. 学习. 学习 is to learn, to study. 习 in this case is to practice and to learn. Last example, 学术. 学 is still to learn, to study. 术 in this case is technique and art. Now let's talk about tones. While many other words in Chinese sound similar, just like any other language, context and tonality helps to clarify them. The first rule is to never ignore tones. I see many people are ignoring the tones and just memorizing the characters and focusing more on writing and reading, which leads to poor pronunciation and difficulty communicating with native speakers. Therefore, the tip 1 is to practice your speaking. Try to practice your tones with native speakers. Even if you don't have any native speakers around, practicing using translation apps can be efficient. The alternative option here would be Chinese TV shows. Watching Chinese TV shows can significantly improve your spoken Chinese. There are many interesting shows out there that can enhance your daily spoken Chinese, so you can watch them. Next, try to guess and interact with unfamiliar characters. Memorize their shapes first, and over time, you will learn their meaning through context. When you encounter with the character enough times, you will learn the meaning from its context. For instance, whenever you see new characters on boards, or on the news, or in books, try to memorize them as characters, not just their meanings. Eventually, if you encounter with that character enough times, you will guess its meaning from its context. This method helps retain new characters more efficiently. Best tip for learning any language is to make it enjoyable. Passion and enthusiasm are crucial for sustained learning. Some learners benefit from immersion, like living in China and surrounding themselves with native speakers and imitating their daily conversations. Immersion allows you to pick up the natural flow of the language. Others prefer structured learning with expert teachers or schools that break down grammar and language logic. Understanding how the language works can be very beneficial. Regardless of your situation, use what you have. What I mean by that is that you don't have to be in China to learn the perfect Mandarin, or you don't have to be attending those expensive schools or expensive programs to learn the best Mandarin. Consistency and maximizing your efforts are the key. Use what you have, even if it's just a solid book or online resources that you have. In terms of online resources, there are many ways that you can learn a language. For example, you can use online resources to learn characters or maybe like prepare dictations, but instead of doing that, there's an easy way. For example, you can go to the Quizlet and search up for HSK 3 or 4. Then you will see many flashcards made by other people. So you can just easily use those flashcards and learn characters, and then you can test yourself with those. This can really accelerate your learning process. Next, set yourself realistic goals. Don't aim for fluency overnight because it's not possible, Set achievable daily or weekly goals. For example, memorizing 5 characters every day or doing small listening exercise every day. Consistency is key. Let's imagine a person who is attending a really expensive program to learn Mandarin Chinese, and that person lacks consistent efforts. On the other hand, the second person is really consistent and learning by watching YouTube videos and using a book and maximizing their consistency and efforts. After a month and a half, the first person is likely to abandon the program due to its inconsistency and lack of effort, and blaming the program for not being efficient enough or not being good enough for them. Meanwhile, the second person, who is more consistent, has learned 500 new characters and improved their HSK level by 1. This demonstrates that maximizing your efforts and not being limited to your resources can help you to achieve your desired results. You can aim for short and daily practice sessions, for example 15 to 30 minutes, instead of having those infrequent long ones. Repetition reinforces learning, so consistency helps you to retain information in the long term. If you found this video helpful, I'm creating a free community on my YouTube channel to connect with people like you, and possibly add mini tutorials or mini courses on language learning and self-improvement and many other productivity videos. If you are interested in them, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to set yourself realistic goals and stay consistent and enjoy the learning process. See you soon.